My name is MICHAEL KOSSIVI, and I am a graduate student, doctoral student in the University of Tsukuba in Japan. And I present to you my research titled Investigating the Impacts of Farmland Ownership on Smallholder Farmers Investment in Irrigation Infrastructural Development in the Volta Region of Ghana. This is the outline of my presentation. By way of introduction, farmland ownership is a significant asset when it comes to investment in irrigation infrastructure development in sub-Saharan Africa. And land ownership tends to be something that is a hectic problem for smallholder farmers. Some tend to acquire land from as rentals, or leaseholds, or gifts. And other farmers also obtain lands from family members, clans, and community heads. In Ghana, farmland ownership tends to encourage smallholder farmers to invest in irrigation facilities more. However, land conflicts tends to discourage farmers to invest in irrigation infrastructure development. Farmers without ownership of farmland tend to have difficulty when it comes to investment in irrigation facilities. And those that have secure land also invest more in order to obtain higher productivity and yields, and for that matter, profits. As depicted by this picture, this farm household tend to have some level of investment on their farmland. And in this picture, this farm household, even though they found themselves near a water source beyond the woods here, they could not draw water to their farm for agriculture activities because of financial constraints. And the proximity of farms to water sources also is a challenge when it comes to investment, because farmers incur higher costs when it comes to technology adoption, pumps, and pipelines use. And size of farmlands and that of cost of farmlands are also significant challenges. And according to some studies, less than 2% of cultivated land is under irrigation in the study area. And farmers tend to have not have much irrigation infrastructure development in the study area. Averagely, some farmer can operate about 3 small-scale farms in several locations. And this brings difficulty when it comes to installation of irrigation facilities because it is very costly. Past studies have indicated that secure land tenure systems encourage farmers when it comes to technology adoption. And others also found that ownership of land and increase the probability of farmers to invest in irrigation infrastructure development. Again, another study found that farm size had a positive and significant influence on technology adoption. To this end, our research gap is we do not know what factors influence farmers to adopt or develop irrigation infrastructure as a viable and reliable option for the future in the study area. Therefore, the main objective of our study is to explain why smallholder farmers in Ghana's Volta River Basin, the nation's foremost irrigation potential area, have failed to adopt irrigation practices to improve food production and food security. And specifically, we aim to investigate the effects of farmland ownership on smallholder farmers' investment interest in irrigation infrastructure development, and also to determine the factors that influence farmers to either invest or not in irrigation infrastructure development. By way of methodology, our research used both qualitative and quantitative methods, where we, first of all, review extensively academic journals from academic databases. And also we use the questionnaire survey. And here we sampled 282 respondents who are farmers from November to December 2023. And during the survey, the first stage, we purposely sampled South and North Town districts of the Volta region. And we also purposely sampled these irrigation communities. And then finally, we went for 47 farmers per community for our study. And then in analyzing the data, we use SPSS and Excel to to create tables and charts for this for description. And now we also conducted some correlation analysis. And for the purpose of this presentation, the correlation analysis results will not be presented. And our results shows that the socio-demographic characteristics of our results indicated that 47% of the respondents fall within the age group of 40 to 49 years, which means that these respondents are in their productive age. And another 75% of the respondents have basic and secondary education. This also suggests that they are literate and that they can read and write. And when any irrigation, or they can also adopt irrigation system when any foreign donors brought this into the study area, because they will have a better understanding. And our socio-demographic the results indicate that the only source of livelihood for our respondent is farming. They do not have any other alternative income source to support their farming activities. And so another 48% also indicated that they earn about $240 per season from their farm. Furthermore, we also found that 71% of the respondents have about 4 to 6 household members, which means that these respondents tend to spend money on the household and then fend for the family when it comes to the welfare of the family. Also, we found that 51% have no farm hands. This means that they depend on family labor for their activities in the farm. And also, our results have shown that most farmers do not own farmlands, which means that they will have less interest to invest in facilities when it comes to irrigation on their farms. And the last part of our social demographic shows that 58% of the respondents have farmed for about 24 years, which means they have farming experience and understand farmland ownership and irrigation development challenges. And also, 48% shows that represent or indicated that they have less than 10 acres of farmland, and smaller farm size means farmers could not be able to invest in their irrigation infrastructure development. And finally, we found that most of the farmers do not irrigate their crops. This means they depend on rainfall and have not developed irrigation infrastructure on their farms in the study area. Therefore, we further asked the respondents, is it more likely to invest in irrigation facilities when you own the farmland? And we found that 241 of the respondents out of 282 agreed to invest when they own the farmland. However, 41 respondents disagree with this. And so we further asked, we asked the respondents who agreed to rate their level of agreement on how their farmland ownership status can affect their investment decisions. And we found that most of the respondents agree that it gives them access to credit and provides them security to invest more in irrigation facilities. And also it encourages them to invest in the facilities for higher productivity. And then we again asked the respondents what prevents those respondents that disagree with that statement, what prevents them from investing in irrigation facilities. And we found that almost all our respondents tend to agree with all these responses, like what some of the responses are: my landlord cannot reclaim the land. My landlord can reclaim the land sometimes when he needs it, or there are no reservoirs in the study area. Others indicated that they do not have formal land documents. And some farmers also indicated that they do not own the land. Others also mentioned the size of the farm is too small. And we asked the respondents again, what role does government or administration play to actually promote their investment interest? And we found that all the respondents agree that laws and regulations exist when it comes to land ownership and transparent land registration processes. However, enforcement is an issue. So all our respondents agree that all these have not been enforced in the study area. And so, by way of summary, our respondents do not own farmlands and were unwilling to invest in irrigation infrastructure development. And obtaining farmland at different locations also tend to discourage our respondents to invest in irrigation facilities. Also, farmland ownership tends to provide security for the respondent and encourage them to invest more in irrigation facility. And as a collateral, it also gives respondents access to credit. And government also did not provide sufficient credit, technical, and irrigation infrastructure support to our respondents. So by way of recommendation, local government should consider land reforms through stakeholder consultations and collaborations, where farmlands can be demarcated and allocated to interested farmers. And this could be done looking at other countries' experience. And so government should also enforce laws and regulations regarding land registration processes and to prevent land conflict among farmers in the study area. Also, public-private partnerships should provide adequate technical and credit and irrigation infrastructure support to the respondents. These are my references. Thank you for your listening.